Christopher Johnson called Adam Gase brilliant. Right now, the New York Jets are anything but brilliant. 0-2, and the owner looks like a complete buffoon. This is the Jetting Up Podcast with B-Reich and Bryan Foti. A pleasant good afternoon to you live from the Jetting Up Studios. I am Bryan Foti alongside with my co-host B-Reich. And B, the New York Jets are 0-2. Another pitiful start to the season. I mean, right now, you look at this team and you say they're destined for the number one pick. And we talked about it, and I know I said it to you. The media is starting to turn on Darnold, and Adam Gase is clearly on the hot seat. And to me, it's just a terrible way to start the season. They looked non-competitive in the first two games. And with that, I'll say, what's up, man? How you doing? And what's going on right now with the Jets?
Yeah, I mean, I thought you hit on it pretty much spot on. I mean, it's been an embarrassing start. I mean, we both had them predicted at 0-2, but to be non-competitive, to see a backup quarterback in Game 2, an 80-yard touchdown on the first play where a guy's not even touched.
I was laughing.
It was the perfect start to the game. I mean, Alec Ogletree looked like he had no idea what was going on. It was brutal start to the game. And you knew immediately the Jets were out of it from the start.
Yep, I saw your tweet. I could just turn the TV off right now. It was perfect. You
could just tell. I mean, that was so ridiculous.
And we didn't even get to break down the first game. But how does Christopher Johnson come out after the first performance where they were lackluster once again? They looked non-competitive, didn't compete, brutal performance. You know, they get the late touchdown with Josh Adams, but they only get their one touchdown on the missed tackle by the Buffalo Bills as Crowder goes for 60 yards or whatever. Darnold looks like garbage, doesn't really play well. He's not prepared. He comes out again, and the owner comes out and says, this guy's brilliant. Is this guy a moron or what? I mean, I can't fathom this. As a Jet fan, thank God I'm not paying for my tickets this year. I was almost tempted to call him, but because they gave me the break on not paying this year, I feel like I'll give him a little bit of a pass. But, my God, this is awful. Like, this guy's incompetent. He clearly made the wrong choice with Gase. And I honestly, you know, I've been a big Sam basher and critic of him, but I honestly feel bad for the guy because he doesn't have a chance here. He really doesn't with this guy coaching him. And it's sad because you could already see it. The number one pick, I brought it up at the top of the show. They're saying Trevor Lawrence is a generational talent. And you got Jeff fans already saying you got to take him if you get number one. Where you're talking about we could get all these picks, but how is Darnold going to improve if he doesn't have a chance to succeed and Gase doesn't give him a chance to succeed? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's almost at a point where, you know, you almost need to take a step back and almost decide now what your plan would be. Now, you know, you've been a Jet fan long enough. As bad as they are, do you honestly think that they'll figure out how to get the first pick in the draft? I just feel like they won't.
I think this is the year, dude. I think this may be the year. This is a brutal team. This guy is worse than Foti. I'm going to go out and say it right now. He's the worst coach in Jets history. He's abysmal. He's awful.
There's no doubt that I agree with you. I think I think you're right. I don't think. But here's my thing. If we're going to get the number one pick, and the team's going to be this bad, I mean, don't you think that it would almost make sense to trade Darnold now while he has at least some value? Because, I mean, if we're 0-16, his value is going to be lower than it could ever be.
I agree.
At least, you know, looking at it, you know, objectively, they're 0-16 now. Do I think that's going to happen? Honestly, no, but the way they've looked in these first two games, I mean, they haven't been competitive at all.
Yeah, I mean, you go down their schedule, man. There's one win I could possibly see, and that's Denver on Thursday night. I don't see them going into the Colts this Sunday. I could see them beating Denver.
Yeah.
I picked the Cardinals win. I don't see that. They look good.
the Miami games are interesting.
Yeah, the Miami on the road before the bye, but I'm talking about before the bye. I mean, you've got a trip to Los Angeles after you come back and play the Cardinals. Then you've got the Bills at home, at Kansas City, Monday night against the Patriots, and at Miami. I mean, you could be potentially 1-9 or 0-10 going into your bye. I'm not putting that off the table. I'm that concerned that they may not win a game this year with the way they've looked. And I don't think it's an overreaction. This guy is just incompetent. Gase is incompetent and does not have them ready to play.
No, and you brought it up before the season that you thought Darnold was going to get a lot of the brunt of it, and it's kind of like a crazy split. I mean, there's a ton of people that say Sam's not the guy, we got to move on. It's been long enough, and then there's a ton of people that are on the complete opposite, saying, this guy really hasn't had a chance. And he shows flashes, but with this guy, he's not going to do anything. And I mean, the one biggest concern I have is this guy's not even playing to win. I mean, he completely shuts it down.
Who are you talking about, Sam or Gase?
I'm talking about the head coach.
Oh, of course. He gives up
He's not even playing to win. I mean, that field goal down 24.
Oh, my God.
3 is just absolutely ridiculous.
And how do we give up a 55-yard run on 3rd and 31? Are you kidding me?
It's so Jets. I mean, there's no one on the backside. There's no one even there. He's not even touched until
80 yards untouched. The first play, I couldn't believe it. Oh, I could believe it, but
it's 130 yards of free offense. No team does that. I know the tackling is a huge problem. This defense stinks. I mean, thank God this year got that crazy interception, because other than that, it was rough.
Yeah, and honestly, you look at all the teams around the league, like Cincinnati, Cleveland, all these teams.
Nobody looks as bad as us.
Nobody does, and you watch other games
every
like
offense
is moving the ball. We can't
every
even.
Every offense has motion. Every offense has deception. Every offense utilizes their guys. I mean, you just brought up Cincinnati. That system and offensive coordinator and coach, they believe in Burrow. Burrow's out there making adjustments. He's calling plays at the line. He's spreading guys out so he can run. Sam's not even allowed to audible for a QB sneak. This coach doesn't even have 4th and 7 plays. He admitted that.
Yeah, I mean,
in the press conference. It's a joke what's going on. The Jets are a JV league team right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
No one's healthy, too.
I know.
Everybody's disappointed. I mean, I thought Frank had a little spark, but we got to rely on a 37-year-old running back. I mean, where's Piron?
I know, 3 carries.
Wesco blows up a guy in the first quarter, never seen again.
Yep.
Never 2 tight end sets. Herndon's abysmal.
Yeah.
Not even
playing. They talk him up all summer. They give the contract extension to Ryan Griffin. Do they even throw it to him? I mean,
no, he's not even part of the offense.
I mean, I don't know what this guy Gase is doing. If you're Joe Douglas right now, you really got to be. I mean, I think there's a possibility. You said he wouldn't make it through the season. I did. If they go 0-4, dude, I think
they're not going to get rid of the guy.
I think he might go.
They're not going to get rid of him. They're going to totally say, we're not paying a guy to go home and that whole crap. And how could you really think that they're going to get rid of a guy when a week before he's calling him brilliant?
Well,
the ownership is not capable of handling these decisions. They made a mistake. They're doubling down. They're continuing to push across this mediocre crap. Joe Douglas better be careful, because if he doesn't get rid of this guy, Jet fans are going to go ballistic. He has to go.
Oh, yeah. Jet fans are going to if they play like they did the first 2 weeks, there's going to be, if he's not fired after that Denver game, there's going to be a revolt. I mean, thank God there's no fans this year. That's the one thing I'll say that this organization has going for them this year. There's no fans. They can just watch it on TV. It is brutal to watch these games. I mean, we don't even move the ball on offense. It's been.
We're not playing to win the game. We have no chance of winning the game. Our coach doesn't care. We're not prepared. These guys aren't motivated. You're hearing it from multiple guys, even new guys. We don't practice well. We're not competitive in practice.
Nope.
They're not tackling well. They're not doing anything well.
It's an
really
indictment
such
on
an
Adam
indictment
Gase.
On the coach.
It's
he really is like you said, could be the worst coach in Jets history.
Oh, he is the worst coach. I mean, how Christopher Johnson let this guy sell him a bill of goods and swindle him to get this job is...
Swindle him. He even has him with basically full control of the team.
I know.
I mean, he basically got, was crucial in getting Douglas,
Well, that may be the best thing he's done. But, I mean, even Douglas right now, he looks a little foolish for letting Robbie Anderson walk because he's had 2 back-to-back 100-yard games. I mean, everything that could go wrong for the Jets this year has gone wrong. C.J. Mosley opts out. Jamal Adams looks like a stud in Seattle. The injuries, Denzel Mims not getting on the field. I mean, but how do you even, develop...
all the draft picks.
Yeah, all the draft picks hurt. P. Ryan not on the field, just getting back. But the big question for me was on the season, I understood it probably wasn't going to be a playoff year, but we had to find out about Sam. And the San Francisco game,
he didn't going to be able to.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to be able to, but you'd like to see if he wants to keep his job here, because I really think they could get the number 1 pick. And everyone, I mean, what's your thoughts on this kid, Trevor Lawrence? Do you think he's generational like everyone else says?
It's tough because, I've always kind of been down on Clemson because I just feel like, it's almost like having SEC talent in a non-SEC conference, and you're an ACC guy. The ACC is definitely down. They have some individual guys, that are really good, but teams, just don't stack up anywhere near the talent that Clemson has. So that's a big advantage for them. They send a ton of guys to the NFL. I think he is special. But do I think he's Andrew Luck? I don't know. I think people are a little higher on him than I am. I think he's going to be really good. I think in the right system he could be great. But, I mean, you draft him 1, and, you put him in the same situation. Say Gase is still here.
Well, I don't think Gase is going to be here. Gase is definitely not going to be here after this year. I mean, Joe Douglas would be a fool. If he keeps him after this season and they play...
what if he has a guarantee from Johnson, for a 3rd year?
Well, then Joe Douglas wasn't the right guy is not going to be the guy to win the Jets the Super Bowl. That's the way I look at it. If he doesn't fire him after this year and they play like they have first 2 weeks,
hopefully he gets some say in that. I mean, that
you would hope.
The thing with the Jets is that they both kind of report separately to the owner.
But,
it's kind of the way that the Jets operate, which I think is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's stupid. But this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. This is going to be Joe Douglas's probably only foray in this. This is a once-time thing. He's got to say, listen, this guy isn't capable. And I know he got me here. He did a lot to get me here. But look at how if you go 1-15, 2-14, even 3-13, like I said, and you look non-competitive, you can't keep this guy around. I mean, you're stunting the growth. And, that's the thing, too. Darnold didn't even
wasting time.
The offense doesn't even give you a chance to evaluate him. All these screens. I know he doesn't have receivers, but
he's not even allowed to throw the ball down the field. And obviously we could get on the weapons. We could get on the weapons, but let's not even talk about that. The play calling is abysmal. I mean, if we just break down each drive, there's a ridiculous play call or horrible decision.
Give up play calls.
That's made. I mean, they're throwing way behind the sticks. I mean, the 4th down decisions are absolutely atrocious.
Yep. I mean,
he's not allowed to throw the ball down the field.
And you go back to the first game of the season, the Buffalo, they get the big turnover early. Josh Allen goes down the field, fumbles. We come out after going 3 and out, run to Frank Gore. Then we go run it again, a loss for 2 yards, and then wide receiver screen. I mean, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me after a turnover where your defense makes a big play first time on the field? Maybe you get some...
Every other team takes a shot down the field right on that first down or second down.
Yep,
right
and we go...
the ball on every second down.
And,
it's really
and the
tough to
defenses
watch.
are keying on it. They're keying on it. They're keying.
Yeah. They're challenging him to go deep. And, first of all, we said we weren't talking about the roster, but the wide receiver group is rough, man. I mean, guys are not separating. And it's just screen after screen.
Yeah, and the one play about Sam that I get on him, that play where he didn't throw, the thing that scares you a little bit in that first game, he didn't really do it last week, but In the Buffalo game, he made a couple bonehead decisions. The interception was a stupid throw. He should have thrown the ball away on a second down late in the third quarter on the last play. I watched the Baldy breakdown. It looked like he missed a touchdown to Crowder. He was wide open. He didn't see him because he was being flushed out. And those are things in year 3 that make you scratch your head that what are they teaching him not to develop? Like, why is he making these mistakes? Like, he looked better as a rookie. I mean, he's got to be better. And that's the thing, too, that I want to see him. You know,
I just think he's not playing free. I think he hasn't been playing free these last 2 years.
Yeah,
you haven't been able to see him kind of, make plays on the go.
Yeah.
There's no rollouts. There's no boots. There's no plays where he's actually running. I mean, let the kid run.
I know. And you saw the touchdown pass that he threw the other day. He made a nice play, escaped the sack, and threw a dart to Berry. I mean, I know it's garbage time.
A great play, but,
it's garbage time. But
it's a flash. As you can see, he can make throws a lot of guys can't,
Yeah, and when he's on the move, he can throw it good.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah, and the thing, though, is they have to, he's got, at some point, he's also got to be a little bit better where he's got to be able to overcome a little bit of the horribleness of Adam Gase, I should say, or the terrible coaching. If you're a superstar player and a franchise QB, there's got to be some games where you say, all right, I'm better than the coach, and I can at least maybe not be competitive with the record-wise, and it's not all about wins, but at least keep your team in a game and maybe steal a game that you're not supposed to win. So I need to see.
I agree with you to a certain extent. I mean, maybe if you look to your left and, you got a good wide receiver and, you got a legit running back and, your tight end's playing well and the O-line looks all right. I mean, he's barely got any of that. What could he really do?
Well, that's the scary thing, too.
Chris Hogan and Josh Malone are going to...
I know, and that's the sad thing. That's the sad thing, too. Like, does this organization really believe in him? Because they're on different clocks. I mean, you look at it. When Darnold was drafted in 2018, McCagnon picked him. So now he goes into year 2. McCagnon signs Le'Veon Bell, brings in C.J. Mosley, brings a bunch of guys. So they're giving him weapons. They're surrounding him with some stuff. Then they hire Gase. They bring him in. Christopher Johnson says, okay, McCagnon and Gase don't get along, so let's fire McCagnon. Now Joe Douglas comes in and says, wow, look at this roster that McCagnon built. These draft picks suck. We got to break this whole thing down. So now you go into a rebuild. This is really Joe Douglas's first year. He's rebuilding the whole thing. He lets Robbie Anderson walk. He's got rookies. He trades his best defensive player. He's loading up on draft capital, and there's no surrounding talent. So you're in year 3 when you're supposed to know and try to win, but you're not going to get a full read on Darnold because he has no one to work with. So does Joe Douglas really?
If you think about it, is there one?
And it's not their guy, dude. It's not their.
That you think is a long-term.
And he got a 6-year contract, Joe D. Yeah, and. Yeah, and Joe Douglas got a 6-year contract, so he's safe. But do they think Darnold's their guy? I don't know. They didn't draft him. And the one scary thing is, dude, like you said, if Douglas keeps this guy and they let unless they get the number 1 pick, but I wouldn't let Adam Gase come within a country mile even if they pick Trevor Lawrence. But that's the scary thing. If they let Darnold walk out the door and Gase is here.
Christopher Johnson's going to give him another year.
I know.
We have no idea.
And that's scary to me because I don't want to see, if Darnold's gone, I want Gase gone too. I don't want to see Gase here with another quarterback. That would be the worst case scenario for me.
Yeah, that would be probably the ultimate,
slap in the face.
Scenario. And I've even talked about, if you really want to just make the Jet job attractive and you want to be really bad and have the number 1 pick. And say you're taking a guy like Lawrence, you may attract a great coach. Of course, it could be sacrificing Darnold. That's why I've even said, maybe you trade him now and really just end the season, tank the season away. Get some value for the guy, load up on picks for next year, hopefully get the 1, get your quarterback, and maybe have 2 other picks in the first round.
Yeah. The only thing is, I still want to see. I don't want to trade him because you want to see him try to develop, and if he does develop, you could trade that number 1 pick.
I'm talking about the value.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you.
Trading him at the end of the year when we're potentially
out
like
of.
You said.
Yeah, I think they're getting the number 1 pick this year. The way they've played the first 2 games, they are head and shoulders above everybody for the worst team in the league right now. I mean, like when we go to preview this Colt game in a minute. what are the key? Like, how do the Jets win? I mean, they don't match up well wherever. I mean, we're going to see Phillip Rivers, a good quarterback. We're going to see a young running back that they've got there. They've got young receivers. They're on the road. They're pissed off from that week one. They just blew out Minnesota last week. I mean, this is another tough matchup for the Jets with Rivers. Going to be throwing it all over. They're going to be like Buffalo, throw it all over the field. And you're right. The sad thing was last week, too, I didn't even really get to it before we get to this Colt game. You let a backup quarterback and Jimmy Garoppolo on one leg. He was injured from the first play. Just manhandle you. And Garoppolo was 14 of 16. He had 2 incomplete passes in the first half and then didn't come back in and play. And they still...
Starting running back went out of the game. Kittle didn't even play in the game.
No Debo Samuel.
Lost Bosa in the game. And Bosa's backup in the game.
Yep. They lost
tons of injuries.
Yep. The only thing that flashed last week was Darnold didn't throw a pick, and our man, Quinton Williams, actually flashed a couple plays. He played good last week.
Yeah, Quinton and Becton both had pretty good games.
Yeah, Becton looks pretty good through the first 2 weeks. That's big.
Looking to show that they're, want to be around for a while now. I want Becton to get that run grade up. He keeps saying, run behind me. I want that grade up a little bit.
Yeah, he's been pancaking people, though.
Some bodies out there, and I like it.
Yeah, he's been tossing some people around. He's been pretty good in the pass protection. I know he got the one, but he played well last week. He's going to learn.
Yeah, he's been solid.
But
it's funny. I wanted to see him all day against Bosa. It was crazy how fast Bosa got hurt. It was almost like, before I even settled in.
Yep.
He was already out. But... it was good. I thought those two guys had some nice moments. Obviously the Barrios touchdown was nice.
In garbage time, though. Yeah, that was pretty. Yeah, there's really not much to talk about from the first 2 games because they were just so non-competitive. I think the lines, they played all right the first week. They were not that great, but I thought they played a little bit better this week against San Francisco.
I mean, can you believe McGovern hurt?
I know, that's true, too.
Guy you can't lose on the O-line.
Yeah, hamstring injury, so he's not practicing this week. Probably going to be out. Yeah. But we'll see.
I want to see both guards play a little better, too.
Yeah, Van Roden missed that block on the 4th and 1. That was a
block on that 4th down.
But
a couple of rough plays. Lewis was a little up and down. And Fan was surprisingly solid. I got no complaints about him. But
yeah.
The tight ends, non-existent.
Yeah, so we'll see this week. No center. Hopefully McGovern can play. I didn't see the injury report today. I don't know. I know he didn't practice, but hopefully maybe he can get back on the field. But I don't know. Hamstrings for a lineman, maybe it's a little bit different, but they're still probably a pain in the butt. But, yeah, it's been nothing but negativity with Mims going on. I know all these guys, Bell. I mean, it's just this is the worst possible start to the season, and it stinks because we're already looking towards next year, talking about the number 1 pick, and we're only 2 weeks into the season. There's still
How can you not?
I know, and that's
these guys in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's brutal. Yeah,
I know we went against 2. I don't know what San Fran's going to do because they're reeling a little bit. But 2 playoff teams that were pretty good. But this Colts game, it's going to be another tough game for the Jets on the road. Yeah,
so let's get into that. So, what do you like about this Indianapolis team? What matchups do they pose to the Jets? And if the Jets somehow can overcome the 10.5 point spread, how do they actually win this game if they were, which we don't think they are?
Well, when you look at the Colts, with the addition of Rivers, the one thing that as soon as you play the Colts is they probably have the best offensive line in the league. Featuring Quinn Nelson, who I think is probably the best offensive lineman in the league. So look for them to run a lot. The Colts are a little banged up. I know Paris Campbell got hurt in week 2. He was their lead receiver. And Marlon Mack tore the Achilles. So look for 2 rookies, 2 guys who I loved, who I wish the Jets had either of them. Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman to get going for 2 rookies for Indianapolis. But I do have some questions about their defense. I mean, Minshew kind of lit them up in week 1. They were all over Kirk Cousins, so kind of a mixed bag of really good and kind of bad. So not sure what we're going to get from the Indianapolis defense, but that offense, definitely explosive, and we're going to have to be able to stop the run. Taylor is going to get 20-plus carries, no doubt.
Yeah, I think that if they can stop the run, Rivers isn't a mobile quarterback, so they can keep him in the pocket. Maybe if they can get some pressure. I know we don't have pass rushers, but maybe we could get some sacks with Quinn Williams bull rushing up the middle because he's not really going to be able to move. I'm looking for Pierre Desir to play well against his former team. Maybe Quincy Wilson plays well. These guys got rid of him, so I'm hoping for that. And I'm
How bad is Wilson injured?
I haven't honestly seen. What he said or what the injury report was about. I heard it was, what did he get? Pull his calf muscle or hamstring again?
Yeah, I know he went. I know he got pulled. During the game, I know he didn't finish the game, but I wasn't sure. Also, big blow to that Indianapolis defense, them losing Malik Hooker, torn Achilles for the year. But
yeah.
They will have a good pass rush with Buckner, Lewis, and Houston. So, and what's his name? Darius Leonard is a tremendous linebacker. So the Colts definitely do have some pieces, but it's just going to be if the Jets could stop the run and get anything going on offense.
Yeah, I don't. It's just.
Do you have any confidence in the offense this week?
Brian? How can you? How could you? You can't. You can't with this guy running the show. They're going to give the ball. Like you said, they gave Gore how many carries last week? 26 carries or 21 carries?
Unbelievable. You knew it was going to be over 20. Way more than Le'Veon Bell's carries.
I know. It's like with the screens, like there's no receiver.
I love Frank, but Frank's 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
I know.
I mean, he just isn't going to be able to break those electric runs. I mean, that's why you got to see some Ryan. I mean, you take him in the 4th round.
Play him.
Get this guy some reps.
Yeah.
Get him in there.
Yeah, but I don't have any confidence, dude. I don't because it's just going to be more screens. They have no receivers. Crowder's not going to play. Perryman's out now. So who you going with? Hogan, Malone, Berrios? I mean, how is Darnold going to, what are they going to do? They're not going to throw it down the field. You'd figure they'd try to get Herndon and Griffin involved in the offense a little bit, but I mean, they look non-existent the first 2 weeks.
I mean, Griffin didn't even have a target.
Yep. They threw to it once, and he got called for offensive pass interference. I mean...
That's right.
Yeah, but...
I remember that call.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Herndon, 4 targets, 1 catch for 5 yards. I mean, absolutely abysmal and invisible.
Yeah, it's a joke. It's honestly... it's a rough go-around for this offense, and... Quite honestly, I honestly hope they lose these next 2 and get blown out. I want Gase gone after the Denver game. I really can't look at him anymore, dude. It's gotten to the point where I
just don't know if they're gonna. I just don't see the Jets doing the smart thing and getting ahead of the coaching searches and starting their search now, which would make sense. You let Jim Bob Cooter run the offense. You let Greg run the D. Let him be the interim. The team will play 1,000% harder. You'll probably see a better Darnold, but they're not going to do it.
I mean, but how could you not if you play like this for 4 straight weeks, like non-competitive, especially at home to another backup quarterback because Locke's out on a Thursday night? I mean, how could you not get rid of him? I mean, 0-4 2 years in a row. And last year, I can understand he got mono, he was sick, but you can't.
If they don't win that Denver game, they are in big trouble.
Yeah, you can't start 0-4 with Darnold in there full blast. He's gotten worse his last 2 years under this man. He was brought here. He was better with Todd Bowles. Yeah,
we said it earlier. Better with Todd Bowles.
Yeah.
By the way, did you hear any of the rumblings? I did hear a small murmur, a small little tremor that people are trying to stir a Rex comeback. Have you heard any of this?
I have not, but as much as a Rex Ryan guy, I am.
Even you wouldn't support that?
No, you need it.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, no, dude. I love Rex, but I know he talked crap and said I could do better than Adam Gase, which I believe he could. But
anyone could.
Yeah, but right now you need an offensive-minded head coach. The guy I would bring in if I would target somebody right now is Eric Bieniemy. He's the next coordinator from Kansas City. you obviously know a lot about. I know you like Joe Brady up in Carolina at LSU. That's another name. You like the college guys.
Lincoln Riley.
I know Lincoln Riley. I mean, Cliff Kingsbury's looking pretty good. I was very against him. I got to actually say, he's got the Cardinals, and they've got Kyler with DeAndre.
Pretty good.
Yeah, 2-0. So it's only 2 games, but I would go with Bieniemy. Let him pick his guy. If it's Darnold, we get a haul for Trevor Lawrence, which I would love. I mean, that's the one thing. If he actually shows a little something and they get the number 1 pick, and I know he's a generational talent, I guess you'd have to take him, but you could possibly get 4 number 1s for him. Washington gave up 3 to get Griffin.
A type of trade that you would get is like
ridiculous.
First,
I heard Daniel Jeremiah talking about it.
Next year's first and probably like a second.
Yeah, you would
probably get like 5
premium picks.
5 day 1, day 2
yeah,
picks
premium
at
picks.
Least, and you'd still stay in the top 5 to 10 at least.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that would be something that...
There will definitely be some teams that are interested.
Yeah, there'd definitely be quarterback-needy teams, but you might be one of them if you don't think... Like, that's the thing, too. Like, if you pass on this guy and he turns out to be a generational superstar and Darnold flops, it's a colossal failure. But if he's good and he's anything like... if he just plays well, you add so much draft capital around him that you could rebuild this team and restock and So, you got to hope...
I mean, you could fill up a lot of premium positions if the Jets were to get, a top 2-3 pick and trade down.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. But, all right, so let's get back to this Colt game. So, you think that, let's get the prediction. Do you think any chance, what's the final this weekend? How bad we getting blown out?
What's the spread? I know
10.5.
It's 4 o'clock, right?
4 o'clock on CBS.
Kevin Harlan on the call?
I don't know who's on the call for CBS, but obviously Bob and Marty for ESPN Radio for the Jets.
God, it's -11.
Yeah, 10.5. I saw earlier on Monday.
Yeah, 10.5.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a lot of points.
You want a final?
Yeah, give me a final.
I think I'm gonna go with. 31-21 Colts.
Okay, 31-21 Colts. The Jets just cover the spread. I'm going to agree with you. I think it's actually going to be 28-14 Colts. I think the Colts cover it, but I think the Jets, I just think they look lifeless again. You got them 3 touchdowns. I only got them 2. I don't know. I have no confidence in this team. I know I sound like, checked out a little bit. I've never been, I've been pissed off at the Jets before, but this is the most deflating I think in my fandom, and I know I feel bad for you because I made you become a fan of this team. They make
you question your love for football every Sunday.
Yeah, this is definitely a low point in my Jets fandom. I mean, I don't really remember 1996 with Rich Kotite, so maybe the older cats on Twitter.
They're on Red Zone watch, which I've stated.
Yeah,
they're very close to getting replaced by Red Zone. I mean, you saw the numbers. I mean, they were joking that the Jets may get blacked out in their own market. They've been so bad.
Yeah, it's been rough. I mean, I feel bad because I made a pact to myself. I've gotten off from the firehouse whenever I'm working. The first 5 games of the year. My next game is the Buffalo game that I got to try to get off of from work. If they start 0-4, I'm watching it in the firehouse that day. I'm not going to give them the time of day.
I can't blame you.
I mean, why? I could watch the game. Maybe I'll miss a little bit of it, but I can't.
All right, so we got our predictions. Let's get to the 2-minute drill. Let's knock this puppy out.
All right. Here's our favorite part of the show. It is now time for the 2-minute drill. All right, B, I got you today. I'm going to ask first. Number 1, which Jets player on defense needs to step up their performance after last week's atrocity?
I want to almost say all of the above. But I'd like to get I want to see Avery Williamson. I want to see Avery a little more out of that guy. I want to see more reps. I want to see him in there. I want to see what he's got.
Over or under 7 carries for La'Mical P. Ryan?
good question. I don't know. He started using Balaj out of nowhere in that game. I am going to say under because Gase usually doesn't ever step up when I need him to. So I'm going to go under.
Over or under 2 touchdown passes for Sam Darnold on Sunday?
Over under 2. I think with Hooker out, they may struggle a little bit back there. You know, shifting a couple guys around a little bit. Kind of only getting a week together. I mean, I know he came in and played pretty well. But I think he's going to have 2. Yeah, I'll go with 2.
All right, 2 touchdown passes. And final one for me. All right, will Greg Williams devise a good defensive game plan against Phillip Rivers and the Colts? Meaning, will they send more pressures?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of felt like sometimes they're a little too soft in their coverage. I mean, I hope he makes them more aggressive. The only thing is their line is incredible. So it's just going to we're going to have to kind of be a bend, don't break. I think Williams is a better defensive game plan. I just don't know if they're going to be able to execute.
All right, what do you got for me, my man?
All right, what do I got for you? Do you believe that any of our current wideouts will make an impact by the end of the season? Do you think that we'll have any standout players at wide receiver this year?
I hope so. I hope Denzel Mims makes an impact. I'm excited to see what he does when he comes back. Becton's looked pretty good. We haven't really seen much of the other rookies just yet. Ashton Davis has kind of been like a non-impactful player. Hasn't really flashed. But P. Ryan looked like he ran a little bit hard when he got in there, so I'm excited to see him. But I'm looking for Mims to make an impact.
Okay. Besides Marcus May, do you have confidence in any other D-back on the team for the rest of the season and possibly the future for the Jets?
Yeah, I really like what Bless Austin's doing. I mean, he's doing it for the second year in a row. He's playing good. He tackles. He's covered well. I know he's gotten beat on a couple plays, but there really hasn't been one where he's been toasted just yet. He's been all right. He makes plays, and I don't know if he's a starter, but he's definitely a player in the NFL for a long time.
Do you think Chris Herndon is the long-term future option at tight end for the Jets, or do you think that they potentially look to move on this offseason?
I definitely think it's a possibility that they move on from him. He really hasn't done much in this offense. Again, he looked better as a rookie than he's looked under Gase. Last year we didn't see him, and so far he's fumbled and he's had 1 catch. So really not, but it's hard to evaluate anybody with such a pitiful coach on offense. I mean, it's really sad.
That's true, very true. My last and final question. So, say the Jets end up having a miserable season like we both predicted. You have them at 3-13. Say they finish at 3-13, but there is a team that finishes at 2-14, and the Jets end up having the second pick in the draft. Would you potentially take a quarterback and move on from Sam if we were that bad and had number 2, or are you staying with 2 and keeping Darnold?
I'm staying, unless I'm getting Trevor Lawrence, I'm staying with Darnold. I can't let Adam Gase outlive him.
Okay, that's fair enough.
All right, that's our 2-minute drill. He and I will be back next week to break down the Jets and Colts. Hopefully we're talking about a Jets win, but with the way we've been playing, I'm just hoping for a competitive football game. Marty Lyons.
That's all we want.
Yeah.
All we
want, a competitive game. But like I was saying before, Marty Lyons, Bob Wischusen on the call on ESPN Radio. You can tune in at 4:05 late kickoff, so you got to get through the 1 o'clock game, so you'll see some good football at the 1 o'clock hour, and then hopefully the Jets give you something to look forward to into the early evening. They'll be on CBS Channel 2, and for now, me and Bryan will say goodbye, and we will talk to you next week. As always, Jet fans, we really mean it this time. You got to stay classy during these tough times to be a Jet fan during the pandemic, and always remember to Jet up. We'll talk to you real soon.